Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California weather-wise. Today is November 17th, and right now we are looking at the visible/infrared satellite imagery. You can clearly see the storm spinning off the coastline. The state of California is right here. There's the Bay Area, there's Southern California. Look at all this lightning associated with this activity approaching the coastline. More widespread thunderstorms definitely today versus yesterday. There were a few thunderstorms across some of the Bay Area yesterday. Some good precipitation totals for some localized areas, but this is going to be more widespread here as we go through the day today. And we have thunderstorms possible all the way in through Saturday. This storm system you see off to the left of the screen here is going to merge with some of this energy and really drive some powerful winds across the state as well, and perhaps keep that precipitation going all the way on into Sunday, and some heavy snow possible for the Sierra Nevada. Another round of thunderstorms possible for Southern California. We'll show you the timeline on that here in a minute. Channel's up over 12,000 subscribers. Thanks for everybody who's been clicking like and subscribe, checking back daily, clicking that join button down below. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody. Taking a look at the Bay Area, you can see there were some heavier precipitation amounts, but kind of isolated nature. Some of that thunderstorm activity did move pretty close to San Francisco yesterday. You might have seen that on some of the social media out there. This is looking at the rain still to come, and you can see some pretty good amounts coming, especially across some of the higher terrains here in Nevada, here in San Francisco, maybe up towards an inch. So watch out for that thunderstorm activity as we go through today and tomorrow as well. More on that here in a moment. Thunderstorm outlook today. This has been shifted northwards a bit here too as well, so watch out. Fort Bragg, Shelter Cove. I wouldn't even rule out a thunderstorm up towards Crescent City and some of the valley areas, some of the higher terrain. Mount Shasta could get a thunderstorm as well over the next couple of days. We'll take a look at that in a bit more detail also. Look at the rain forecast. You can see the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, and we are uptrending this up towards Weaverville, Redding out there, Red Bluff, getting some good precipitation amounts showing up in some of the model runs. And check out these snow levels dropping down towards 6,000 feet as we go through Saturday night. And this timing is through Saturday. And this could continue on into early Sunday here as well. And I would not be surprised to see some moderate impacts across the higher terrain also. If you guys want a nice, affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It's all solar powered, all wireless. Great lightning detection system with it, and a great smartphone app also. Now looking at the NAM3 cam, this is hot off the presses here, and you can clearly see the low pressure off the coastline here. It's got some gusty winds with it, bringing some strong winds across some of the higher terrain as we go through the day today. Even across Southern California, you can see those gusty south and southeasterly winds there, and you can see them approaching the coastline through this afternoon and evening. And with some of the thunderstorm activity, you can get some gusty winds as well, and you can see this low pressure approaching the coastline here as we go on into tomorrow morning, Saturday. And then look at the next frontal system kind of merging with that, and look at some of the winds this could potentially drive across some of the state. Look at the Sierra Nevada here. We're talking about sustained winds over 65 knots here across some of the higher terrain. Very gusty winds incoming across Nevada, the desert areas, the higher terrain, even some of the North Valley, North Central Valley here could be getting some pretty big wind gusts up over 40 miles per hour. We're going to have to watch this closely. The storm has been trending stronger and a little bit further south into California, the one that's going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest over the next few days. But you can see all the way through Sunday here, look at some of these powerful winds just driving down across the area here. And as we go into early next week, we're probably going to turn these offshore as we build some high pressure across the Great Basin and drive some offshore winds, maybe some Santa Ana. So we'll watch that closely over the next couple of days. This is looking at the NAM3 cam. This is accumulated 10-meter max wind gust, so I want to show you that as we go through the day today. You can see some of the coastal areas being impacted. Then you'll clearly see that next storm move across the region. Look at this, some 40, 45 mile per hour gusts across some of the valley areas, and much higher gusts across the higher terrain. I mean, the NAM is even up towards 100 miles per hour across some of the highest terrain here with these very powerful winds, strong gradient driving across much of California and Nevada over the next few days. Look at the desert areas, very windy, much of Nevada, very windy also. Now, taking a look at the composite reflectivity, this is what the Doppler radar may look like as we go through the day today. You can clearly see that band of showers approaching. And as we go to about 0Z, this is about 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if we back up, there's 2, and you can see 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You can see these thunderstorms moving across the area, some rain locally heavy at times and really spreading across the region. You can see perhaps another round as we go through later tonight into very early tomorrow morning. And some of this activity as we go in through late tonight into tomorrow morning could be impacting Southern California again as well. You can see these showers continuing to move into the area on through Saturday. And look at this prolonged rainfall all the way in through Saturday afternoon and evening. You see this Pacific Northwest storm rolling in and impacting portions of Northern California as well. And some of this precip may not wrap up until on the day Sunday. Now, taking a look at the lightning flash density potential on the HRRR 3KM, you'll clearly see the lightning potential arrive with that shower activity as we go through the day today. This is actually the most recent HRRR, goes out 18 hours, the 15Z run. But you can see you've got thunderstorm potential from Northern California and then eventually down through Southern California as we go in through late tonight and early tomorrow. Now, taking a look at the European, just to kind of get some idea if there is agreement with the HRRR, and you can clearly see there is. This is going on into about the noon hour there, 1, 2. So anytime after noon, you can expect some of that lightning activity to be pretty close to the coastline, the central coast up towards the Bay Area through this afternoon and evening. You can see some of that thunderstorm activity eventually maybe shifting down towards Southern California. The European, not quite as bullish on the HRRR for the Los Angeles metro here, but a word of caution, the European has kind of been underdoing the extent of lightning that's been showing up in the real world. Now, looking at the HRRR, the 3KM run, this is the 12Z run. So this was issued this morning. This goes out 48 hours. This is total precipitation. And what I'm trying to show you here is that as we go through the afternoon and the evening, there's going to be big variability. Some people are going to be like, I didn't get too much rain out of this. And some people are going to be underneath some gully washers out there, as you can see. And this goes all the way through Saturday morning. Look at some of these precipitation amounts coming across some of the coastal areas. Northern California, Mount Shasta area. You can see the Sierra Nevada, some areas getting locally 3+ inches possibly there, all the way down through Southern California. You can see if as I back up, this looks likely to start to roll through late tonight on in through tomorrow morning for Southern California and really extending across much of the state. HRRR's not showing much for the desert areas right now, but you can see much of the state here getting some pretty heavy precipitation amounts. And again, there's going to be some big variability between places on just how much precipitation you get. And if you're underneath one of those thunderstorms, you're probably going to get a pretty decent shot of rainfall here as we go on in through Saturday night. Now, taking a look at the HRRR on the left versus the HRRR on the right, we have been uptrending some of the precipitation here. This is last night's run, and you can clearly see it's kind of bumped up these totals. This is a running for 24-hour total here that I stopped as of a very late Saturday night, but you can see big amounts across some of the higher terrain Northern California. Now, looking at what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere, you got the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. This is last night's run. This is the storm system that's been impacting the state here over the last few days. You can see it spinning on the coastline there, and then it kind of merges with this next trough and this next storm system as it dives towards the Oregon coast here, really intensifies this gradient across California. GFS, the European, the North American model, all in agreement with very strong winds driving down across the area. So we're definitely uptrending in the strength of this next storm. As you can see by, look, what is this? Very early Sunday morning here. This powerful gradient really going to be bringing some huge winds to the higher terrain all the way down through Southern California, some of the desert areas in Nevada as well. So heads up for this. And there's big winds possible for some of the valley areas, as I mentioned. And yeah, so interesting stuff here, folks. And then you can see that trough swing through across the southern states there, and the ridge builds, and we may start some offshore winds at this time here as well. Pretty good agreement between the GFS on the right versus the European on the left through about hour 90. This is looking at max 10-meter wind gusts according to the European. Let's see, does it agree with the NAM or the North American model and how windy it's going to get? It doesn't show quite as strong across some of the northern valley areas here, but look at the Sierra Nevada all the way down across some of the higher terrain, the mountain ranges down there in the desert areas. Big gusts likely incoming here. And this is looking at the European mean sea level pressure. So here goes our storm just kind of spinning, taking its sweet time, finally starts to kick inland. And you can see that pressure gradient really tighten up here across a lot of the higher terrain, especially as this trough drives down across the area. And you'll see in the end of the run, notice that high pressure setting up shop there over the Great Basin. That's likely to start driving those offshore winds on in through early next week. Now, taking a look at the day one thunderstorm outlook, this is what the SPC has to say about it. This almost all the way down to the Los Angeles metro here, actually just kind of clipping it. But you can see it includes much of the I-5 corridor up towards Redding, all the Bay Area, some of the Sierra Nevadas here, and places off into the desert and some of western Arizona and maybe even Las Vegas. Can't rule out a thunderstorm through today. This would be for tomorrow. Again, all of Northern California, all the way down towards the Los Angeles metro here. And day three, finally kicking this system out of here. But we'll watch this closely. Maybe a straight thunderstorm might be around Nevada or some of the higher terrain of California as we go through the early morning hours of Sunday. We'll see how that trends. But looking at the Siskiyous here, you could easily see some measurable snowfall across some of the higher terrain I-5 as that storm system's really been trending more powerful here for Northern California and southern Oregon. And yeah, So that's noteworthy there. Watch out if you're traveling on I-5, some of the higher terrain, Northern California through Southern Oregon there. And then maybe we'll have the return of some winter weather there for some of the higher terrain on through the end of November. But that's purely fantasy at this point. Not even really worth discussing yet. Look at Mammoth. Check it out. These wind speeds. The latest control had 59 mile per hour gusts, and some of these gusts are actually over 70 miles per hour in some of these ensemble runs. You can see the ensemble mean is right around 50 miles per hour there. Lake Tahoe, check this out. The latest control, 74 mile per hour. That is a hurricane force gust. And look at some of these. Look at some of this agreement here in the European ensemble members here with some big gusts. You can see the ensemble mean is getting towards the mid 60s. So heads up, folks. Watch out if you were up on Lake Tahoe, some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, even towards Reno, desert areas, Nevada, California, Southern California, higher terrain. Big winds likely incoming. This is McCarran, Las Vegas. Some of these showing up over 50 miles per hour. We'll see if this trends up or down as we do tomorrow's briefing as well. Tehachapi. This is the municipal airport there, and very big wind gusts likely incoming here. You can see the ensemble mean up towards 60 miles per hour. And if you want to know where the Tehachapi Municipal Airport is, it's right there. There's Bakerfield, Los Angeles Metro. Yeah, hope I'm pronouncing that right. As far as I know, I am. But yeah, somebody correct me in the comments if I'm not. Mammoth, here we go. You can see snowfall incoming here as we go on in through Sunday morning. And some of these are some nice amounts there. You can see right around between 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of snowfall there. But the higher terrain, as I mentioned, either yesterday or the day before, can definitely get higher amounts. This is the NAM3 cam. So this is total snow ratio could share in inches. You can see Northern California actually starting to show up some better snowfall amounts as that secondary storm rolls in here through this weekend. And the Sierra Nevada, some big amounts. I don't think we're going to be recording 138-inch snowfall out there, but eventually a couple feet could be dropped across some of the Sierra Nevada as we go on in through Sunday afternoon coming up here. So it could be some difficult travel at times. This is looking at total snow on the Her. This is this morning's run. This goes out 48 hours. So we're going to fly through here, and you can see it's showing a pretty good coating of snowfall incoming here for the Sierra Nevada. And don't sleep on that Northern California snowfall there. Maybe the Siskiyous even getting a bit of measurable snow as well. And this goes through Sunday morning. So let's look at the extended forecast a little bit here. This is the GFS. This is hot off the presses, the 12Z run. I'm going to put this into motion. You can see our storm spinning, finally kicking through here as that system's been trending a bit further south here, and that's what's going to drive those strong winds, as I mentioned before. Then we get some ridging, high pressure setting up over the Great Basin here, driving those offshore winds, and we go off into the extended a bit more, and you can kind of see this trough almost just set up right over California, set us up shop right over California, Nevada here. That would be a fairly dry system there, but we'll watch it here. We're looking pretty far out in the European here, but it does show some troughing kind of hanging out here, then another lobe dropping down out of the Pacific Northwest towards the Southwest USA. But we'll watch that as we go. But just kind of a heads up there as we go into the end of November, we could get the return of some active weather here, but we'll watch that day by day. Kind of the fun of checking out these models every morning is that this definitely will change as we look at this over the next few days. And just kind of showing off at this point, looking at the California drought monitor, just some abnormally dry conditions. The state is officially drought free right now. And you can see the reservoirs are doing pretty good. You can see Shasta and Orville there above their historical averages. And yeah, doing pretty well, and most of the reservoirs are. Hopefully we can keep that going here, and this this snowfall here over the next couple of days isn't going to hurt for a lot of areas, and this rainfall will be beneficial as well. It's been kind of still dry for some locations here. Anytime you go through a summer in California, you're going to have dry locations. So this precipitation event with this low spinning off our coastline for the last couple of days and continuing to do so through this weekend is definitely a beneficial thing. So let's enjoy it. But yeah, anyway, this is the real-time lightning out there. You can see it bubbling up here. It's going to be interesting to see how much of this makes it up over the Bay Area and across the Valley area in the Sierra Nevada. As we go through the day today, you can see a few lightning flashes back across here, almost kind of a double-barreled low here off the coastline. And then the next system out here is going to kind of merge with that, and that's what's going to drive those very strong winds as we go through this weekend. So we'll check this all out again tomorrow. No doubt there'll be changes, but it's been trending stronger with that storm through the weekend here. So very noteworthy on that point. And again, another round of thunderstorms possible as we go through the day Saturday down for Southern California as well. And we'll make sure to check that out. You can kind of see how this band is setting up. I would not be surprised later tonight into tomorrow morning to see some lightning popping off and moving down towards the Los Angeles metro. Wouldn't shock me at all. The system's been a pretty prolific lightning producer off the coastline. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.